right, guys, we are in 2021, and I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about this COVID relief bill that just got signed in after Trump signed it. This is a big thing. I was doing some reading on it this morning, and what I was noting overall, and I kind of focused in on this is because I have owned rental properties and rental properties in the past, and I focused in on this part where it's a relief through the end of January. I think it's January 31st or 30th. Anyway, somewhere in that range, sorry. That it said that you don't have to, you can't evict somebody if they aren't paying their rent. Now, again, I want everybody to understand, I know we have to do something. And I keep hearing this over and over and over that we, quote, have to do something. And I'm not disagreeing that we should do something. I just think we should do things that make logical sense. In this issue that we're talking about right here, when we're talking about this COVID relief bill, what we've done is we've said, okay, landlords, you can't evict somebody for not paying their rent. And I guess I'm okay with that. But tied in with that, you would almost imagine that we would have tied together some relief for the person who owns the property. So we have a situation here where someone not paying their rent can't be evicted. The person who owns the property, and how are they supposed to make their mortgage? How are they supposed to pay the property off? Whether it was done through a business loan or whether it was done through just a regular home mortgage. Let's say someone owned a property and then had to move out of state for some oddball reason. Military around here is pretty hefty. They'll move into the area, they'll buy a house, and then they get restationed, and now they rent the house out. Well, let's say you put a renter in there, and then they're not making their payments, and they haven't been making their payments because of COVID. So now because of COVID, they haven't been able to make their payments, and the landlord can't evict them, can't get them out of the house so they can put someone in who can pay. I'm a little nervous that we're not going to see an uptick. Now, again, I'm not saying this is the end of the world, but this is going to be part of what's going to cause a rise in foreclosures if we continue to push this ball down the hill, right? So the further we push this ball down the hill, the faster we get it rolling, the harder it's going to be to get it to stop. Now, I say that, and I understand, and someone else might have a differing perspective than I have. So let's say, for instance, you're the renter, and you're saying, hey, Skip, wait a minute, I lost my job. I haven't been able to work. There can be all kinds of different scenarios. And you would say, hey, wait a minute, I need this so that I'm not living on the streets. And I agree. And this is where I'm saying I think there's a little bit of a disconnect here in this bill. We haven't connected, the ends haven't come to connection. And what do I mean by that is we're not seeing that connection. We're saying for the renter's sake, yes, we're going to keep you from being evicted, but there should have been a tie-in with that connection point for the landlord who's not getting his rent. So the second that you're not getting rent, it should apply to the fact that, hey, you don't have to make your payment, or you don't have to pay this percentage of your payment or this much of your payment. We could have done some finagling there to help the landlord out so that they in turn had some relief. It seems like we've given relief to the renter, but we haven't given any relief to the landlord. I don't even want to get started with the fact, when we're talking about this relief bill, all the pork that's inside of it. We're funding other countries. We're funding studies. We're doing all kind of other things with all of this money that we just spent, these trillions of dollars. And yet we're not helping the American owner, the owner who owns the house, who owns the apartment complex, who owns the duplex, the triplex. There needs to be a tie-in. And I'd love to hear you guys. If somebody has something that they would say, no, Skip, I disagree because of this, or Skip, I agree we need to do something else, but it should be this. I would love to hear some feedback. So that if you guys have some feedback on this particular issue, and again, I understand there can be some ranting and raving on the COVID bill in and of itself. I'm not specifically talking about that. I'm more focusing in on the fact of this landlord tenant side from the real estate perspective. How do we handle that, and how do we handle it where it's a fair perspective? And I think that's what we're looking for. We need to somehow come and make those ends meet together so that this thing works out a little smoother. When we're spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, I would just like to see it be a little smoother. So anyway, I would love to hear what you think. Feel free to make a comment on the blog. I'm going to go ahead and also post this on Facebook and Parler and MeWe. So I'm going to put it in a lot of different places. But I would love to hear what you're thinking on this. I did a little bit of reading on it this morning, which is what kind of got me started on this thought process, because I was reading into what's in the bill and where's the money going. And I'm just not so sure I agree with this little provision that they put in where they're extending this, where someone can't be evicted. To me, that doesn't make any sense. So feel free. I want to hear your comments. I want you to put it out there. My name is Skip Geyser. I'm a real estate agent in the Northwest Florida area. So if you ever need any real estate services, please feel free. Real estate counseling, real estate services. My wife and I both would love to help you. So feel free to reach out, give me a comment, and we'd love to talk to you. Thanks.